Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my first haul of 2026. I have not stopped buying books. I haven't. I should. I have not stopped. I keep adding. But now you get to see what I spent my money on. And now this is not going to include the many books that I've received unhauled for other people. These are books that I have specifically spent my money on, and I will do my best to be as open and transparent as how much I've spent on books, so long as you promise not to tell my parents or my boyfriend, please and thank you. I'm going to start with my special editions because there are some books in this that I've bought purely because they're special editions. I have read them already, so they're not adding to my TBR. The first one actually didn't cost me anything because I got the Waterstones edition of The Hollow Places. Now, I read this as a paperback. I then lent the paperback to my mum and haven't seen it since. And I thought, what an excellent opportunity to treat myself to this beautiful sprayed edge edition. I really like The Hollow Places. This is one of my favourite tea kingfishers, and it cost me nothing because I had enough points on my Waterstones voucher to get this one for free. So I feel like we're off to a really strong start. Now, if you haven't read The Hollow Places, it is a portal horror, I guess is probably the easiest way to describe it. You have this main character who's going through a messy divorce, and she goes and stays with her uncle who runs this like weird little trinket museum place that has like all these cursed objects, but one is actually cursed and opens up a portal to this horrendous world where things are eating each other, and then that horrendous world breaks into the real world and she kind of has to just deal with that. But it's messy and gory and tense and just a really good time. I had a great time with it, so I was really excited to treat myself to a pretty special edition that cost me nothing because I'd already spent too much money on Waterstones beforehand. Because actually this isn't too many books considering it's 3 months worth of buying, but the first one was free. Then I treated myself to apparently So Cameron Needs to Die by Greer Southers, which happened to be a special edition, but was not intended to be. I didn't buy this because it was a special edition. So as part of my Patreon, if you reach a certain level as a patron, you don't just get to be part of the bingo book club, which you get each month, but you also get gifted books so that we can buddy read them together. It works out cheaper than you would buy these books if you bought them from a retailer. And this is the one that I fancied reading as part of my next buddy read. So this is about two adorable little gays. This is about two guys from very different sides of like a magical war, but a prophecy foretells that someone has to die. So Cameron has to die, apparently, and the only way that he can see himself surviving this prophecy is if he goes to the other team and the big bad villainous guy, and it's giving like a Villain's Apprentice but with LGBT rap. And I didn't massively love the first one, but I'm intrigued to try this. Like, it feels like it's gonna be a very silly, whimsical fantasy. And maybe I just need to give it a go with a buddy read. I think maybe something like that is better when you're discussing it with someone else. So I was really excited, and I just thought that sprayed edge with the skulls and daggers and things was just really cute. But wasn't expecting that. That was a really pleasant surprise. Another one that I wasn't expecting to be a special edition, but kind of is, only insofar as they are colour coordinated sprayed edges, is the Katie Roberts series. Now, I didn't get the last two, partly because they weren't available through my retailer and I didn't want to spend money on them on Amazon if I could help it, and partly because they weren't my favourites anyway. Like, that was enough reason. These are the 4 best of that series, I think, personally. But I have been eyeing up these like really pretty, very seductive romance covers that are giving like cinch but like modernized and a little bit fantasy and a little bit broody and dark. And considering that's kind of what this series is, I was here for it. And I just thought there are not many like dark romance, like borderline smutty books that I would like happily have on my shelves because I would reread them. But this series I would reread, and I felt like that was really just an investment in my future and my happiness. So I bought all of them. Another Waterstones exclusive that I purchased was The Summer War by Naomi Novik. This one I still have vouchers for, but only like a couple. So instead of it being $16.99, it was $13.99. And this is the novella that is attached in the same world as Spinning Silver. I didn't love Spinning Silver. I feel like I enjoyed it a lot more than other people generally did. I did like the kind of wintry whimsy of it, and I really liked Naomi Novik's writing style when it comes to like high fantasy. So was really excited to try something like this because I feel like this is going to be opposing. But the idea of summer and like it's going to have elves and magic in it and stuff like that. That's really interesting to me, especially when done by Naomi Novik. So the fact they had the hardback sprayed edition, I could not resist. I'll be honest, I didn't even try. I didn't even try to resist. I just thought that is something That's a little bit of me, so. And then not from Waterstones, I bought this from Booker in Oswestry, but it still had the pretty sprayed edge, is Cursed Daughters by Yinken Braithwaite. Now, I have actually TBR'd this book for April and May, and I know nothing about the actual plot, other than apparently it's a little bit spooky, and that was only because it was spoiled a little bit when I heard someone talking about it on TikTok. But I didn't want to know anything about it because I loved My Sister the Serial Killer by the same author, and when I saw that she had another supernatural thriller coming out, it was an automatic pre-order. I wanted it. It then didn't arrive in the condition that I wanted it to. So when I saw that they had a sprayed edition in Booker when I happened to be there earlier this year, I just treated myself. So I paid full price for this one. This was $18.99 from Booker in Oswestry, an independent bookshop that can happily have my money for a book that I know that I'm going to really enjoy. Another one that I got from Booker, which just happened to have the sprayed edge and I wasn't expecting it to, is The Golden Boy's Guide to Bipolar by Sonora Reyes, which is the sequel to The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, which isn't as easy to say as you think it would be. The first book broke my heart, but in like the best way. I thought it was one of the best contemporaries I'd read in a really long time. I love the LGBT rep. I love the neurodivergence rep. The second one is going into both, again, from the perspective of the brother who does not have an easy time in that first book. And I'm just really excited. I really enjoyed Reyes' style of writing. I felt like I was in there with them at the school, having a great time, and I'm really, really excited to jump back into that world. Then we have my Evernight edition of We Call Them Witches, which is sprayed edge, comes with the really, really pretty hardcover, but not a secondary cover, which I thought was really interesting because sometimes they'll give you like a reversible sleeve, and I know nothing about this because it's not something I would have chosen for myself, but it sounds really interesting. I'm again trying to go in relatively blind because I have been burnt by some Evernight books before. Evernight is their horror specific subscription, and some of them are very witchy whimsy horror and I don't find them very scary, and others are far more my bag. Like Bat Eater was fantastic, but others I've DNF'd like 2 or 3 chapters in. So I don't know how long I'll hold on to this one, but we will give it a go. Maybe at some point. I think because I don't choose them for myself, I have less interest in them. But I also don't want to give them up because every now and then there's an absolute corker that comes in that box. So probably the one that I'm least enthusiastic about in general because I didn't choose it for myself. So, but it's there. She owns it. She paid for it. My subscription, I think, is something like £26 a month plus postage. But because it's a subscription, I never really pay attention to it, which is bad. You shouldn't do that. You should absolutely pay attention to where your money's going. But apparently Illumicrate and Evernight can just have my money because the next one on my list, admittedly was in their sale, is Heavenly Tyrant by Zirin J. Chow, which again is the sprayed edition. Again, has a beautiful hardback, shiny, does have the reversible jacket, and has really pretty end papers with shenanigans going on. Have I read the first one? No, I haven't. And did I promise myself at the beginning of this year, and actually the beginning of last year, that I would stop buying sequels before reading the first book? Yes. But I've also been really enjoying reading about Asian mythology in contemporary and sci-fi books and fantasy books, and I've really been into sci-fi dystopics. And considering the first one is both of those things with polyamory and with an author who is just hilarious on TikTok, like I really enjoy their content, I feel like I'm gonna have a good time. So I risked it and I spent £15 on the sprayed edition of a sequel to a book I haven't read yet. Whoops. And then my last special editions that I purchased were a Six of Crows and a Crooked Kingdom. Now, I used to have the hardback editions of these. I don't know where they've gone. I don't know what's happened to them. I feel like I may have lent them to someone and then they were just never seen again. I also don't know what's happened to my paperbacks because I've moved twice now and I can't find them. And that was excuse enough to spend, I think, about £25 each on these. I'm really enjoying the shiny. I also really, really enjoy the like card element of the front covers. I think that's really pretty. Again, we've got beautiful end pages. We've got beautiful designs on the hardcover. This was a little treat because I'm working my big girl job now. I don't get to read as much, but I want pretty books on my shelf. And I just feel like getting yourself the pretty editions of books you've already read is such a nice way to add beautiful books to your shelf without worrying that you're going to hate them. because I have a habit of buying pretty editions and then I don't enjoy them. But at least with this, I'm like, I know this is a good time. I know I will reread it. I will probably do it as an audiobook so I don't have to muss them up because I'm a messy person too. I feel like this is money well spent. I feel like this is money well spent. I feel like I've done the right thing for myself here. And I don't know why I'm justifying this as hard as I am. I feel like maybe just a little bit, it's because people watch haul videos and then get really annoyed at how much money people are spending on books, even though it's their money and they can spend it on what they like. And at the end of the day, like the meme says, it could be drugs, it could be worse. And there is space for these on my shelves. These have actually been on my shelves for the most part the last couple of months, fitting in quite nicely. I've still got space. You wouldn't believe it, but like there's a whole shelf here. Empty. Nothing there. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is I'm judging myself so you don't have to. Speaking of, it's on the list because I bought it. I'm not going to keep it. I don't know how I feel about this. I was discussing this with someone else online, and I don't want to read it. I have no interest in reading it. I don't feel good about having it. I bought it again because it was one of my Patreon picks, but having learnt about all the stuff to do with the front cover that's AI, and writing and editing that is AI, and Hatchet pulling it, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about having it. I don't have I have no inclination to read it. I don't want to read it and be like, oh, is that what AI sounds like? Because I've heard really good things. I heard some really bad things, but I heard some really good things, and I'm not keeping it. But you should know that I spent money on it. This cost me £6, and I'm mad about it. And apparently it retails for $14.99 for a paperback. So, wow. I really hope no one else made the same mistake I did and bought a copy they don't want to read. I hope if you've bought it, you either read it and you wanted to read it, or you've got a way of getting rid of it. So I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know if I want to like donate it to the library. I don't want to pass this on. It feels really weird and really jarring, but it's a thing that I own and a decision I've got to make. Because the decision with regards to read it, I'm not gonna. That's fine. I've made that decision. What I do with it now, no idea. Genuinely not a clue. Next on my list is Natalie Haynes' No Friends to This House, another pre-order. I bought this for £20, I believe. Yeah, £20 from Waterstones, because I didn't want to risk not getting a copy. Sometimes when it's big titles or big names like this, they sell really quickly through my distributor and I can't get my mitts on them. And I was really excited to get another Natalie Haynes hardback. It's not a shiny special edition like my other ones are, but I don't care because it's part of the collection now and I hope she feels at home. It's an Odyssey retelling. It should be a very good time. Now, the next one technically is 4 books, but I'm only counting one because I'm not actually adding the others to my owned TBR until I've read the first one. I've bought all of them, but they are technically stock. So far I've only spent £5, and I will add the rest to future hauls if I get to them, but I just, again, didn't want to risk. They only had like 2 or 3 copies left. I didn't want to risk not being able to get my hands on the rest of the series if, and let's be honest, when I continue, because I absolutely do want to continue with this series. I bought. So I now have the full set. I now have all of the books by Marie Brennan that are the Natural History of Dragons series. Really, really enjoy this series. I know that I will continue it. I know that I will. I'm 3 books in now. I've made an emotional commitment. I need to see it to the end. Have the end. Not putting it on my own TBR though. This is technically stock, so it doesn't count. But I have bought it just in case because I would really like to continue this series. For anyone who hasn't read this series, if you liked the Encyclopedias of Fairies, but actually you wanted more of like the dark academia studying side and less of the banter between the two of them, because actually that was me all over, would recommend this series. Like, she's a proper Indiana Jones adventurer without stealing, without the appropriation, just generally loves dragons and wants to do science. So we love a woman in STEM. And these I'm going to hide down here because they don't count yet. Then I have Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Andrews, which I bought for £9.99 at Blackwell's in Oxford. Went to do a little Valentine's Day thing with some friends and ended up buying books. This was one of them. The other ones were The Summer War, which I bought from Waterstones in Oxford, and Holiday Places, which I also bought. So this is the only one I actually had to pay full price for, just because everyone was talking about it. It seems like it's going to be a woodsy, foresty, Wilder Girls style LGBT horror, and that was me sold. I was here for it. And again, C.G. Andrews is someone that I follow on Instagram and sees we just had a great time. So I was really excited to get this on my TBR. The first book that I bought this year was also from Booker in Oswestry and was reduced down to £7 from £9.99, and that is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, because everyone was talking about it. Everyone over Christmas was talking about it. I couldn't move for people talking about how good this book is, that it's a Christmas carol romance, and I was like, what even is that? What even is that? But also, now I need it. And the fact that it was reduced, and I'm not going to read it before Christmas because honestly, I can't bring myself to do that. But I had to have it so that I could read it towards Christmas. Imagine buying this like 2nd of January. It's not Christmas season anymore, but she's buying Christmas romances because she's always late to the game. And then the last 2 books I bought from the Harbour Bookshop in Whitstable. It wasn't Margate, I was going to say Margate, but it isn't. The Harbour Bookshop from Whitstable. And both were recommended to me by Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe. So the first one is The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. I have read the 5th season, which was recommended to me by Olivia. I now need to read the second one. I didn't own the second one, and I buddy read the first one with Georgia, and I keep poking her and saying we should read the second one, and I'm now at the point where I'm worried I'm going to need to reread the first one because it has been literal years since I picked up the first one. But I'm just going to throw myself into the deep end and just try and pick up the second one at some point. Winner of the Hugo Award, so you know it's well written, but also sci-fi recommended by Olivia, so you know it's going to be good. And then the other one is one of the films we actually watched for Gothtober was Annihilation, recommended by Olivia. This is the book by Jeff Vandermeer, and again, just really couldn't resist. It's a shiny cover. It's a short read by the looks of things, and recommended to me by Olivia. So I thought, got to get them sci-fis in, recommended by one of my favourite sci-fi recommenders. As someone who like really didn't think she liked sci-fi, I kind of trust everything Olivia recommends me when it comes to the genre I thought I hated. So there you go. So there we have it. Every book that I've bought since the 1st of January. I don't think I've bought anything yet as we stand in April. I don't think I need to, because my book buying is not matching my book reading. My book reading has dropped off a little bit, which is a little bit scary, but I've been working. I'm a working girl. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below, what was the last book that you bought for yourself? Why did you buy it? What's it called? How much did it cost you? Etc, etc, etc. Have you read it yet? Are you interested in reading it soon? Because let's be honest, of all of these, only one of them made it into my April and May TBR. So treat yourself to something from Waypoint Books because it supports me and my content and my book buying. Leave a little dragon down below so that I know you're here, and most importantly, have a nice day. Another Waterstones exclusive I purchased without the propagation, without the appropriation, is the Golden Boy's Guide to Bipolar by Sonora Reyes, which is the sequel to The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, which isn't as easy to say as you'd think it would be.